All right, so we're going to solve a system using substitution, okay? And substitution still means you take a letter out and you replace it with something it's equal to. We've done substituting a lot in our warm-ups lately when we substitute the number 3. So everywhere we see the letter, we put in parentheses 3. This way of solving a system of equations is the same idea. We're going to substitute, but instead of substituting just a number or a value, we're going to substitute an entire expression, okay? So first we know that y equals 3x plus 8. We also know that 5x plus 2y is equal to 5. You need to identify the equation that is already solved for something. The top equation I have is already solved for y. Now, if that y is equal to 3x plus 8, that means that this y is equal to the same thing. So I'm going to rewrite the second equation, but instead of y, I'm going to use parentheses, and this thing y is equal to 3x plus 8. And then keep copying, okay? So I took out the y, and I replaced it with the 3x plus 8 from the top equation. We're putting the top equation into the bottom equation so that we only have one variable now. So now the only variable I have is x, and I can solve for x. So our first step, substitute 3x plus 8 into y, okay? Second, going to solve for x. And we're solving for x because that's the only letter I have left in that problem. So I have 5x, 2 is distribute. So 2 times 3x is plus 6x. 2 times 8 is 16. That all equals 5. Then I have x's, so I'm going to take the 5x plus the 6x, combine them, 11x's plus 16 equals 5. Now minus 16, 11x equals negative 11. Last step is divide by 11. So I have x equals negative 1. Okay, that's the first part of my answer. Okay, so now part 2. So part 1. Part 2. For part 2, you need to substitute negative 1 into x. So we're going to go back to the first equation, y equals 3. Instead of x, use 1, or negative 1, sorry, plus 8. After that, we're going to simplify. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3 plus 8. Negative 3 plus 8 is 5. So the solution to my system happens when x is negative 1 and y is 5. I can also write that as an ordered pair. X is negative 1, y is 5. Okay? All right, let's make this next box a little bit more organized. So I'm going to split it down the center. And we're going to put part 1 on this side and part 2 on this side. Might make it a little bit easier to see. Okay, then grab your highlighter. Oh, you know what? I should have highlighted this x. So what I did when I found what x is equal to, I took that and put it in place here. So that's where that came from, okay? Okay, now we're going to highlight the equation that already has something solved. This one isn't solved for y, it's solved for x. So I'm going to take this piece that means x and put it in place of x, okay? So I copy my equation, but in place of x, I use y plus 1. So 4, instead of x, y plus 1, plus 4y equals negative 12. So step 1, substitute y plus 1 for x. Now, solve. And this time I'm going to solve for y because that's the variable I have. So 4 times y is 4y. 4 times 1 is 4. Bring down the plus 4y equals negative 12. Combine your like terms. So 8y plus 4 equals 12. Minus 4. 8y equals 8. Divide by 8. Y equals 1. Okay, now I'm going to take that answer and I'm going to substitute it back into the first equation. So part 2, we're going to substitute one for y. So I'm going to take this answer I got, y equals 1, and I'm going to put it here in place of y. So I have x equals, instead of y, I have 1 plus 1. Now, simplify. 1 plus 1 is 2, so x equals 2. Okay, so my answer happens when y equals 1 and x equals 2. So you can leave your answer that way, or you can write your answer as ordered pair 2, 1. X is 2, y is 1. And that's it. It's a lot of work, so it's easy to get lost, but if you'll use your highlighters and split your paper into 2 parts, then it's really not so bad. I'm not going to do the next 2 examples because those are the same as the first 2 examples, okay? That's it.